Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, a lot of you guys have been asking for stories, so we'll do that in this video, where we have a walk along this rocky section of Wongamat Beach South. Now, it's no surprise that once again these stories come from my hairdresser friend. Now, my hairdresser has a customer who works in an estate agent's office over on East Pattaya, in the dark side, and her name is Far. Now, Far is an avid user of dating sites, and she was looking for a boyfriend, and she found this Spanish guy named Miguel, who seemed to be very interested in her. So they started chatting for a while, maybe a year or so. Then the guy said he was going to come to Pattaya for his first time. And this is a little while ago, and he came, and they met, and had a couple of weeks together. Everything was good, and then he went back home. 3 months later, he came back and said he wanted to buy a condo in Pattaya, and can she help him? Well, obviously she could, because that's her job. She's an estate agent, or a real estate agent. So they start looking around, and he found one he liked. So Far said she would organise everything for him, with a solicitor and everything. And the cost was 4 million baht. And he should transfer that money into the account which she gave him for the solicitor. And everything went ahead, and he ended up getting the property. And Far did all the paperwork for it, which is all in Thai language, but she explained what it meant to him. Everything was fine for a couple of months, and then Far said she had to go home to Isan because her mother was very ill, and she needed to go home and take care of her, and wasn't sure how long she would be away. It might be a month, it might be more. So she took everything with her up to Isan. And she only messaged him once a week, which he was surprised about, but he sort of assumed that maybe the relationship was on the way out, and resigning himself to that. Then, about 2 or 3 weeks later, there was a knock on the door, and he opened it, and it was an estate agent. And the agent said, "I've come to see if you want to renew your rental here for another 3 months. You've paid 3 months in advance. Would you like to continue renting for another 3 months?" "What?" said Miguel. "What are you talking about? This is my condo. I bought it." No, said the agent. "This is rented." And then Miguel went and got the paperwork and brought it and showed it to the agent, who was Thai, and the paperwork was all in Thai language. And the agent read it and understood it and said, "No, this is a rental contract with an option to purchase for 4 million baht if you like to live here after you've been here for 3 months. Now, would you like to continue living here? Would you like to buy it, or would you like to pay more rent?" The agreed price is in the contract here. It says 4 million. So if you want to buy it, that's the price as on the contract, 4 million baht. Miguel was stunned. He called Far, who surprisingly answered. He told her what happened and said, "There must be some mistake." She said, "No mistake. The bank were going to repossess my parents' house if they didn't give their money back. So I had no choice. I'm sorry." This is Thailand. So I was having a coffee with my hairdresser friend the other day, and she told me what happened in a shop last week. So she was working in a shop, and she was doing the hair of a regular customer of hers, who's a very experienced freelancer, good looking and about 35. When into the shop walked another regular hairdresser customer who works in a massage shop, and this massage girl, who's also good looking, is about 30. But the massage girl sat down and started crying. "What's the matter?" asked both the hairdresser and the freelancer together. The massage girl said she'd just been fired from her job because of lack of customers. And she said she was the last one in, so she has to be the first one out. The hairdresser said, "It's not that bad. You still have your Falang boyfriend to take care of you." "Yes," said the massage girl, "but he doesn't have a lot of money, and he wants me to work to help with the finances." "Sod that," but in Thai, said the freelancer. "If he can't take care of you, he doesn't deserve you. You're a good-looking girl and still young. You should ditch the boyfriend and start working freelance like me." "Oh, I couldn't do that to him," said the massage girl. "He's a good man." Now the freelancer then started explaining to the massage girl how she works using the Thai Friendly app. She said she takes 2 customers every day. She takes one short time in the early afternoon, only 1.5 hour, gets 1,500. Then she takes a long time, from about 7 p.m. But she says to the guy she normally charges 3,000 for a long time, but she'll give him a discount to 2,000 if he takes her for a nice meal in a fancy restaurant first, to get to know each other. The real reason for this is to see if she likes him enough to stay the night. If not, she'll make an excuse and she'll bail after the meal. But this doesn't happen very often, mainly because guys are on their best behaviour for the very first time. And also the girl said she enjoys staying in a nice hotel or a condo with air conditioning and a good bed. Her own room is a small 20-metre one with fan only, no AC, where she just keeps her clothes and showers and does her makeup, and hardly ever sleeps there. And she doesn't see the need to spend any more on a better room because she's just never there. "So how do you know you're going to get any customers?" said the massage girl. To which the freelancer just burst out laughing. "That's the least of your problems," said the freelancer. "Here, let me show you. Give me your phone." The freelancer then proceeded to download Thai Friendly onto the massage girl's phone, and together they used some pictures from her gallery and set up the girl's profile. Then the freelancer said, "Just wait." So after 20 minutes, the massage girl has got 150 likes on her new account, and after 1 hour she had 25 guys offering to take her short time and some even long time. The massage girl was shocked. She couldn't believe it. The freelancer then opened her own Thai Friendly account app on the phone, on her own phone, and she explained to the massage girl how she works the system. She said that she tells any customer she likes and wants to see again, that she very rarely uses Thai Friendly and just put on for a laugh with a friend, just put a name on. But she likes the look of this guy, so that's why she agreed to meet him. She said she then gets his line ID and says they should use line in future to make contact, as she doesn't really want to continue being on Thai Friendly because she's a good girl. As soon as she gets the guy's line ID, she then blocks him on Thai Friendly, so he can't see her profile anymore. And she tells him she's deleted her Thai Friendly account because she's a good girl. The massage girl then asked the freelancer if there were enough customers to work regularly, and maybe the massage girl only got lucky because it's today with a high count because it's brand new. The freelancer then showed the massage girl her messages for the last week, and there was a choice of a dozen guys every day who wanted short time or long time, more than she could possibly handle. That's a dozen every day. So the massage girl started looking at the profile of the guys on Thai Friendly, and she complained that it was all in English, and her English reading skills were not very good. She can speak it but cannot read it. The freelancer started laughing and said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you. You need a second phone to read the English." "I don't understand," said the massage girl. "Let me show you," said the freelancer, and picked up her own second phone and opened Google Translate and set the language from English to Thai. Then opened the massage girl's Thai phone, Thai-friendly app, and on her own second phone she pressed the button on Google Translate at the bottom right which says camera. She then passed the camera on her own second phone over the Thai-friendly girl's massage girl's account over a profile. And what happened was that all the English text was instantly translated to Thai. All the profiles were in Thai. She could read everything on the freelancer's second phone. So the massage girl borrowed the freelancer's second phone and settled down on the sofa, looking through the Thai-friendly men's profiles. The freelancer went back to the hairdresser's chair, and my hairdresser continued doing her hair. About half an hour passed, and then there was a loud scream from the massage girl, and she was holding up the phone shouting, do, look, my boyfriend on Thai Friendly. This is Thailand. So the other day I went into my hairdresser friend's shop for a chat and a coffee, and as I walked in she was just finishing with a customer, and as the customer was paying I looked at her and I thought, wow, you're attractive. The girl left the shop and I said to my hairdresser friend, she's very pretty. She was dark skinned and very Thai looking, but really pretty. So my hairdresser friend laughed and said, yeah, she's new to Pattaya, only been here 6 weeks. She's got a great story, by the way, about why she came to Pattaya. So sit down, have a coffee, and I'll tell you. The girl's name is Far, and she's only 22 and from Bangkok. And she's lived with her parents in their small apartment in Bang Na all her life. And she did well at school and got a school leaving certificate and did particularly well at English, all of which meant that she had her choice of jobs. So she chose one where she could use her English and went to work in the reception of one of the best hotels in Bangkok. A couple of months later she was in reception when a tall, good-looking guy in his mid-30s walked in and booked a room for 2 weeks. He said he'd just arrived in Bangkok from Milan and was just starting a 2-year contract working for an Italian multinational company at their Bangkok office, who were paying for the hotel for 2 weeks while he looked for a condo. Now each time the Italian guy walked through the hotel reception, Far would give him her biggest smile she could possibly give. After a few days the Italian guy came to reception and asked if there was any mail for him. He was expecting a letter. Far said no, not yet, and then asked him how his search for his condo was going. Not well, he said. I keep getting lost. Why don't you let me help you, she said. I have 3 days holiday this weekend. Why don't I be your guide? And we'll go look at condos together. I can't let you do that without paying you. No, said Far. I don't want any money, but yesterday I heard you speaking English with an American guest in the reception, and you speak very good English. Because I worked in London for 4 years, he said. She said, you can pay me for being your guide by teaching me better English. The guy laughed and said, okay, it's a deal. So Friday came, and the first of Far's 3 days of holiday. And she picked him up outside the hotel in a taxi, which he paid for in the end. And off they went looking for condos, which went very, very well, and they saw about half a dozen. And then they repeated the search the next day. But on the second day, the third condo that they looked at was absolutely perfect, and they both loved it. The guy went down to reception and signed the lease and paid the deposit, and the condo reception lady said, "Come back tomorrow lunchtime for the keys." Job done. So on the Sunday, they went back and got the keys, and she helped him to move his stuff into the condo, which wasn't a lot of stuff, but she helped anyway. Then they went down to dinner to celebrate, and then back to the condo. And Far ended up staying the night for the first time of many. So they became boyfriend and girlfriend. And Far invited the guy to her family home for a meal cooked by her mother. This happened several times, and each time the guy had to squeeze past a very old, dilapidated Honda Click motor scooter. He asked whose was that in the way, and Far said, "Oh, it's my father's, you know." And a few weeks later, Far invited the guy to her parents' apartments for a meal to celebrate her father's birthday. Now, the Italian guy told her that he would meet her at the apartment at 7 p.m. True to his word, the guy arrived and parked outside on a brand new red Honda Click scooter, a birthday present for Far's father. From that moment on, Far's parents loved the Italian guy. He could do no wrong. And so it went on for a few months. He gave her a key, and she came round many evenings and let herself in. Then one day, Far was letting herself in, and there was a new girl on the condo reception who stopped her and asked, "Are you a tenant?" Far said, "No, my boyfriend is a tenant." A new girl then insisted on calling the Italian guy to ask if it was okay to let Far up. And she also asked Far to leave her ID card at reception, just like a freelancer does, you know. After that, every time Far came to the condo and this new girl happened to be on reception, the girl would insist on stopping her and asking for her ID card, which she kept in reception until Far left. Now then, a couple of weeks later, it was the Italian guy's birthday, and Far was on the rota at work to work until midnight on that day, which she did not want to do. So about noon, lunchtime, she told her hotel manager that she was sick and vomiting, and could she go home? Just an excuse, you know. The manager said okay, and off Far went to the nearest Italian deli and bought some lunch for her and her Italian boyfriend. She got a taxi, went to his condo. There was no one on reception, she was lucky, so she took the elevator and she let herself into the condo, put the food on the table, and walked through into the bedroom to find her boyfriend and the nasty reception girl both at it on top of the bed. Far screamed and yelled abuse, then ran out of the building and got a taxi to her parents' house and told both her mother and her father what had just happened, expecting her family, including her teenage sister Knock, to be all outraged and say, "How can he do such a thing?" But she was greeted with, "Men will be men," from her father, and well, it was his birthday, from her mother. Even her teenage sister said nothing. Far screamed, "It's over, it's over." I finished with him. Her parents both said, "Don't be so hasty. It was probably just a one-off for his birthday." That was when Far realised that her family had effectively been bought off. She had a huge argument with her family and packed her clothes in a bag and said, "I'm moving out," and just left and blocked her family on the telephone. She didn't know where she could go, but then remembered that her cousin who was a little older than her at 28 and had lived and worked in Pattaya. She called and told her the problem. Said, "Sure, come to Pattaya, get the bus and stay with me." Is actually also one of my hairdresser's customers. That's how this all came about. So works as a dancer in one of Pattaya's very best go-go's on Walking Street. I won't say the name. And the next day, took Far to talk to the top mama-san, because you know these places have 2 or 3 different ones. And the mama-san was very impressed with Far, with her looks particularly, and the fact that she was only 22, and offered her a job as a model. But Far said she doesn't want to show anything, you know. And the mama said, "Okay, you can be a coyote dancer, then you don't show anything." Far also said she didn't want to bar fine. "Okay," said the mama-san, "but you will have to bar fine yourself once a week to stay within the go-go rules." Far agreed. That same evening, she was dancing beside who showed her the ropes. Far then worked 3 10-day contracts over the next month and was very popular and got a mountain of tips. And the only time she bar fined was when her and both bar fined themselves and went out to Insomnia and Republic for a night out together. So a month passed, and kept asking if Far had contacted her family, because was worried about them. Far said, "No, I'm still angry with them." A few more days passed, and Far and had just woken up. It was about 3 p.m. in the afternoon when there was a knock at the door, and went to open it, and standing there was Far's mother, obviously doing. And they both burst into tears and hugged each other. Her mother said, "I was worried to death about you. How can you survive? You don't have any money." "Mum, I've got a job already, here in Pattaya." Her mother said, "How much can you make in here? 300 baht a day as a waitress? That's nothing." Far didn't say a word. She just walked over to the wardrobe, opened the bottom drawer, dug out a small bag, and took out a huge wad of cash, and waved it in front of Mother's face, and said, "Not a waitress, a go-go dancer. This is last month's money, 80,000 baht." Her mother was gobsmacked, staring at the wad of cash, with her mouth open. Then she turned to and said, "How old do you have to be to work in a go-go?" 20, said The mother then looked at Far and said, "Nok, your younger sister, is 20 next month." This is Thailand. So I hope you enjoyed those stories, guys. One of them I had told before, but it's a long time ago, and I've got a lot of new subscribers since then. That's okay. Anyway, please like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, and please look at Patreon. Absolutely brilliant videos down there now. I got a whole bunch from of Heaven Above Girls, all on Patreon. Really, really good. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.